Hello students. Now in this lecture we are going to study the different laws of chemical combination and some other topics. So we start with the laws of chemical combinations. See, in the laws of chemical combination means what? When the elements combine with each other to form a compound. You know, whenever the compound is formed, that time two or other elements are come together. And when they are come together and reacting with each other and making another compound, they are obeying certain laws, certain basic laws. This process is governed by 5 basic laws discovered before the knowledge of molecular formula. You know what is meant by the molecular formula. Water is having the molecular formula H2O. Copper sulfate is having the molecular formula CuSO4. So before the knowledge of molecular formula, there are certain 5 basics law that can be used while combination of two or other elements to form a compound. So we will see all these laws. First law is the law of conservation of mass. Antoine Lavoisier in 1743 to 1794, a French scientist, is often referred to as a father of modern chemistry. He carefully performed many combustion experiments. Combustion experiments what? The element burn in air, that is called the combustion. Suppose one example, burning of phosphorus and mercury both in the presence of air. You know, when any element combine burn with air, they form their certain oxides. So what are the observations when they burn the phosphorus and mercury in air? Both resulted in an increase in weight. After several experiments, he found that weight gained by the phosphorus was exactly same as the weight lost by the air. Means what? Whenever the chemical reaction takes place, the mass of reactant is equal to mass of the product. That is the weight gained by phosphorus. Phosphorus is react with oxygen. Means what? There is a gain in weight of oxygen. At the same time, air is losing is some weight. So weight gained by the phosphorus was exactly same as the weight lost by the air. He observed that total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of the product. Example, when hydrogen gas burns and combine with oxygen to form a water, the mass of water formed is equal to the mass of hydrogen and oxygen consumed. That is, the mass of the reactant is equal to mass of the product. So what is the law of conservation of mass? Mass is neither created nor destroyed during the chemical process. So this is the first law of chemical combination. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed during the chemical combination. So you have to understand that the total mass of the reactant is always equal to total mass of the product. Means whatever reactant you taken in gram, the same weight of product in gram you will get. There is no loss of any weight. So this is the law of conservation of mass. Then we see the law of definite proportion. The French chemist Joseph Proust performed experiments on 2 samples of cupric carbonate. He is having the 2 samples of cupric carbonate. One was natural and second was the synthetic. See, Joseph Proust has done one experiment with cupric carbonate sample. It has 2 sample, that is natural sample and synthetic sample. He found that the composition of elements present in it was same for both the sample as shown below. See, cupric carbonate means it has 2 elements, 3 elements are present: copper, oxygen and carbon. So in natural sample of cupric carbonate, percentage of copper is 51.35, percentage of oxygen 38.91 and percentage of carbon 9.74. So this is for natural sample, and there is synthetic sample same, that is the percentage of copper 51.35, percentage of oxygen 38.91 and percentage of carbon 9.74. Means you have to remember here that the whatever the sample may be synthetic or natural, the composition of element is fixed. Same way, suppose you are taken the sample of water, one sample of water from river, from sea, another sample from whale, some from the lake. So suppose you have taken the 4-5 samples of water from different sources of water, and you have tested the composition of both oxygen and hydrogen. So you will say all these samples contain the oxygen, percentage of oxygen and percentage of hydrogen is same. So irrespective of the source, they are having the same composition of the element. Joseph Prost stated the law of definite proportion as follows. A given compound always contains exactly the same proportion of element by weight irrespective of the source. A given compound always contains same element in the same proportion. See, whatever, irrespective of the source, a compound may be natural or synthetic, having same composition of the elements present. This is the law of definite proportion. Proportion definite है, so this law is called the law of definite proportion. The validity of the law has been confirmed by various experiments. This law is sometimes referred as the law of definite composition. Then law of multiple proportion. Now we are taken two laws, that is law of conservation of mass, that is the mass is neither created nor destroyed during the chemical process. Second, the law of definite composition or definite proportion. Third law, law of multiple proportion. This law was proposed by John Dalton in 1803. It has been observed that two or more elements may form more than one compound. Though element, if you are taken two elements, they can combine with each other to form two compounds. Suppose one example, carbon and oxygen react with each other. C plus O2 giving CO2, that is the carbon dioxide. Same carbon react with half molecule of oxygen, C plus half O2, it is giving CO, that is the carbon monoxide. So in the law of multiple proportion, you see that the two elements are same here, that is carbon and oxygen. But in one reaction, carbon dioxide is formed, and in one reaction, carbon monoxide is formed. So law of multiple proportion summarized many experiments on such compound. When two elements A and B form more than one compound, the masses of elements B that combine with given mass of A are always in the ratio of small whole number. Now we explain this law of multiple proportion by one example. See the example. Hydrogen combine with oxygen to form two compounds. That one example I already given, that carbon and oxygen react with each other to form either carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. In the same way, hydrogen and oxygen also react with each other to give two types of compound. Hydrogen combine with oxygen to form two compounds, namely water and hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen plus oxygen giving water. Here you are using hydrogen 2 gram, oxygen 16 gram to give water 18 gram. See here we are observing the law of conservation of mass. See hydrogen 2 gram, oxygen 16 gram, total 18 gram. And the product form water is 18 gram. So mass of reactant is equal to mass of product. Here we see it obeys the law of conservation of mass. Same second reaction. Hydrogen plus oxygen given hydrogen peroxide. Now see the difference. Hydrogen same, you are taking 2 gram. Now instead of oxygen giving, you are taking 16 gram. Now you are using the oxygen 32 gram. And here you get the 34 gram of hydrogen peroxide. H2 plus O2 giving water and H2 plus O2 giving hydrogen peroxide. Here it is found that two masses of oxygen, see here mass of hydrogen is same in both the reaction, that is 2 gram 2 gram. So what changes here? The mass of oxygen. In first reaction we are taking the mass 16 gram, and in the second 32 gram. That is 16 gram and 32 gram which combine with fixed mass of hydrogen 2 gram, and they are in the ratio 16:32. That is 1:2. So here we are obeying the law of multiple proportion. So ratio 1:2. Second example, if nitrogen and oxygen combine to form two compounds, first is nitric oxide and second is nitrogen dioxide. See, in the first reaction, nitrogen 14 gram combine with 16 gram of oxygen to give 30 gram of nitric oxide. And in the second reaction, 14 gram of nitrogen react with 32 gram of oxygen to give 46 gram of nitrogen dioxide. Here you find that the two masses of oxygen 16 gram and 32 gram combine with fixed mass of nitrogen 14 gram in the ratio that is 16:32, that is 1:2. So this is the one more example which shows that it obeys the law of multiple proportion. Example of law of multiple proportion: carbon combine with oxygen to form carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Carbon 12 gram react with mass of 16 gram to give carbon monoxide. Then 12 gram of carbon react with 32 gram of oxygen to give carbon dioxide in the ratio 2:1. One more example, sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide. Sulfur dioxide sample size is 64.06, mass of sulfur 32 gram, mass of oxygen 32 gram, or sulfur dioxide form is 64 gram. And sulfur trioxide, 32 gram of sulfur react with 42 gram of oxygen. See here in the same case, that is the sulfur is having same mass 32 gram 32 gram. So here changes the mass of oxygen. While the formation of sulfur dioxide, it takes 32 gram of oxygen, and while making the sulfur trioxide 48 gram of oxygen is used. So ratio is 42:32, that is 36:3:2. So 48 upon 36, 3:2. This is the simple ratio. Then the next law is the Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume. This law was put forth by Gay-Lussac in 1808. Now we'll see what is this law states. The law states that when gases combine or produce in a chemical reaction, they do so in a simple ratio by volume, provided all gases are at same temperature and pressure. This is Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume. When gases react with each other at same temperature and pressure, they are in a certain proportion, they react with each other. Example, under the same conditions of temperature and pressure, 100 milliliter of hydrogen combine with 50 milliliter of oxygen to give 100 milliliter of water vapor. Hydrogen plus oxygen giving water, hydrogen 100 ml, that is 2 volume, oxygen 50 ml 1 volume, and water 100 ml 2 volume, that is H2 plus half O2 giving H2O. So ratio 2:1:2. So ये ratio, this is the ratio in which they combine with each other, that is 2:1:2. Second example, under the same condition of temperature and pressure, 1 liter of nitrogen gas combine with 3 liter of hydrogen gas to produce 2 liter of ammonia, N2 plus 3H2 giving 2 ammonia. If you have balanced this reaction, nitrogen N2, you have to take the 3 molecules of hydrogen 3H2 plus ammonia is forming 2NH3. So 1 volume, 3 volume and 2 volume if you balance the reaction. So they bear the simple ratio 1 is to 3 is to 2. So you are seeing that the reactant and product, gaseous reactant and gaseous product, they are following a certain ratio, 1 is to 3 is to 2 in the formation of ammonia. Then we will see the Avogadro's law. In 1811, Avogadro proposed that equal volumes of all gases at the same temperature and pressure contain equal number of molecules. Equal volumes of all gases. See, suppose you are taken 1 liter of all hydrogen gas, nitrogen gas, carbon dioxide gas. At same temperature and pressure, they contain equal number of moles. Hydrogen 1 mole, nitrogen 1 mole, oxygen 1 mole and carbon dioxide 1 mole. So 1 mole of each and every gas is having the same volume. If we consider the reaction of hydrogen and oxygen to produce water vapor, hydrogen plus oxygen water, Gay-Lussac's law tells 2n moles, n moles and 2n moles. And Avogadro's law tells that two molecules of hydrogen react with one molecule of oxygen to give two molecules of water. So this obeys the Avogadro's law that equal volumes of all gases at same temperature and pressure contain equal number of moles. According to the Avogadro law, if one volume contains n molecules, then 2n molecules of hydrogen combine with n molecules of oxygen to give 2n molecules of water. Avogadro could explain the above result by considering the molecules to be polyatomic. He considered the molecules are polyatomic, means they are made up of more than 2 to 3 atoms. If hydrogen and oxygen were considered as a diatomic, as recognized now, then the above results are easily understandable. So in this diagram you see, while the formation of water molecule, one volume of hydrogen and one volume of oxygen, it gives 2 volume of water vapor. Then the most important, that is the Dalton's atomic theory, its postulates, they are very important. In 1808, Dalton published a new system of chemical philosophy in which he proposed the following features, which later became famous as Dalton's atomic theory. First, matter consists of tiny, indivisible particles called atom. Tiny means very small, indivisible, you cannot see with your naked eyes. All atoms of given elements have identical properties, including mass. Atoms of different elements differ in mass. Suppose you have taken the element iron. If there are small atoms of iron, so all the atoms, they are having the same mass, same shape, they are have identical properties. Compounds are formed when atoms of different elements combine in fixed ratio. Chemical reactions involve only rearrangement of atoms. While chemical reaction takes place, you see there is a reorganization of atoms. Atoms are neither created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Dalton's theory could explain all the laws of chemical combination. Assumptions of Dalton's atomic theory: matter is made up of tiny, indestructible, indivisible unit particles called atoms. Atom is the smallest particle of an element. Molecule is the smallest particle of a compound. Atoms of the same element have same size, shape, mass and other property. Compounds are formed by the combination of different elements. Atom in a compound unite in a small whole number ratio, either 1 is to 1, 1 is to 2, 1 is to 3, 2 is to 1, 2 is to 3, like this. Atoms can neither created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction involves only the separation, combination or rearrangement of integer number, that is the whole number 1, 2, 3 etc., and not the fraction of atoms. Now we'll see the atomic and molecular masses. First we'll see what is the atomic mass. Every element has a characteristic atomic mass. Atomic mass is the mass of an atom. It is actually very small. Example, mass of hydrogen atom is 1.6736 into 10 raised to minus 24 kg. This is very small quantity and not easy to measure. In the present system, mass of an atom is determined relative to the mass of carbon 12 atom as a standard, and this has been agreed upon in 1961 by IUPAC in this system. An atom carbon 12 is assigned a mass of exactly 12.000 atomic mass, that is AMU, and all other atoms of elements are given in relative atomic mass to that of carbon 12 isotope. The atomic masses are expressed in AMU, that is atomic mass unit. 1 AMU is defined as mass exactly equal to 1/12 of the mass of one carbon 12 atom. See, definition of AMU is the mass exactly equal to 1/12 of the mass of one carbon 12 atom. Thank you. We have completed this chapter up to this. In the next lecture, we will continue it.